Welcome back to this series, Foundations of Bioenergetics, with me, Dev Raj. I believe this is number 8 in the series, and this week we're going to look at an exciting series of postures that I call 5-position release. It's a sequence that I created kind of intuitively some 5-10 years ago and worked with extensively with clients and also when I was running early morning sessions in the spiritual community where I used to live some years ago. And it's one of those sequences where it also gives you a bit of a wake-up boost. In some aspects, it's a little like a regular workout, so it can get your heart going a bit. But aside of this, it also showcases a couple of lesser known but very useful aspects of bioenergetics. Now, you'll notice if you're relatively new to bio and the way I teach it, that I use a lot of ding tracks. Often with sequences, I get people to put like a ding track on in the background, giving a ding every minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. And then you change the exercise you're doing when the ding comes. And I've found over the years that this is really, really helpful when it comes to bioenergetic sequences of exercises. Just having this clear little ding, not too obtrusive in the background, but just instructive, telling you when to change exercises is very useful. You don't need to look at a clock or watch, which will take you out. You don't need to decide yourself when to change postures, which is a setup to just let your nervous system take over and take you out of the process. There's a bit of discipline to the ding track. And if you want to download ding tracks, you can get, in fact nowadays you can get a zip file of a whole lot of them off my website. There were some issues with the downloads before, but hopefully they're fixed now. Now, before I explain more about this exercise and the kind of theory and what it's doing, I think it's best just to show you how it goes. This isn't a follow-along video, but I'll go through the postures. And basically, I recommend that you do it to either a 90-second, 1.5 minute, or 2-minute ding track. So in total, to do 3 reps, which is what you'll do without a break, will take either 22.5 minutes or 30 minutes. And then at the end, you allow 2 more dings to just lie down flat out and feel your body. Very important, especially if you're someone who always likes to charge off and get busy with something. Create some space for natural integration to happen. Cool, so let me go through the 5 postures. So the first posture is our bow posture. And for this sequence, it's important to do the bow with your back to a wall, that doesn't have any kind of horizontal rail on it. Because after this posture, we're going to be going straight into the wall sit. So you stand literally about 30 to 40 centimeters away from the wall. That's a foot or a little bit more. And the bow posture, you raise your arms up above your head. You've seen it in the first one of this series. Right up above your head, palms facing forwards. When you press your pelvis forwards and squeeze your arms back, keeping your head roughly level so your gaze is still level. And then in this posture, you breathe deeply enough and make a little bit of sound so that you can hear yourself breathing, like Your breathing is deeper than normal. You really keep your arms straight and squeezing back, and you feel your body. Breathing and feeling. When the ding goes, as mentioned, I'm going to come into a wall sit. So that means straightening my body for a moment, releasing my arms and sitting back into the wall. Now, the wall sit is a classic high stress posture, and the most important thing about it is to try and get your upper legs horizontal so they're parallel to the floor. Then your back, you're just sitting back against the wall, and then in this posture, breathe and feel your body. So once again, I'm making enough sound so that I can hear myself. This is a high stress posture. It really works certain muscles in your legs. So, at some point it's probably going to start to ache quite a bit and you're going to want to get out of it. The first thing you do, is to try and breathe through that. Just that on itself is a huge learning if you can do that. It's teaching your body how to release rather than clench and hold. If it's too painful, then you need to use a slightly less long ding track for the whole sequence, basically. So I'm in my wall sit and the ding goes, and then, keeping my head fairly low, I push out from the wall, my hands behind me, come down onto all fours and begin to walk around the room doing bear crawl. Now, bear crawl is when you move one hand and the opposite foot at the same time, up and down together. You can go backwards as well as forwards. In fact, it's important that you do. This is an excellent posture to get more energy into the core of the body. If you're feeling like this is pretty easy, then you can extend the distance between your hands and your feet. And you can also do a bit of a bear run if you feel confident to do so. And when the ding goes, you come out of that posture, bringing your hands and feet together and coming into the classic dog posture from yoga. Let's look sideways on. We're not going to be staying in our dog for the whole ding, but basically you straighten your legs, but your feet are sufficiently away from your hands, but your heels aren't on the floor. You straighten your arms and you try to relax your neck so your head is just a bit hanging. Now you do this posture for like 20 seconds, something roughly like that. And then you come out into the lion posture. This is the dog lion, basically. This is the fourth section of our 5-position release, dog lion. So it's dog, and then at a certain point you just come out into the lion. The lion, you keeping just your palms and the balls of your feet on the floor, you drop your crotch, raise your back. You may get yours a bit higher than mine old back. You try to keep your legs parallel to the floor, so you push your heels back, but you try to crane upwards. It's a stress posture, and then you stick your tongue out and you roar like a lion. So it's like, you know, if you're feeling not very happy about doing this sequence, you can put that energy into your roar, leaning forwards with a bit of aggression. After 3 or 4 roars, you push back and go back into your dog. Straightening the legs and the arms. And then after another 15-20 seconds, you repeat that. Then back into the dog. And when the ding goes, what you're going to do is again very important. Do not bring your head up, but walk your hands back and then hang in the arch position. Let me move a little bit. Still breathing nice and deep. You don't, even if you're very flexible, you don't interlock your hands. You let your fingers be just off the floor. So you may need to raise your back a little bit, that's okay. Let your body hang and just breathe and feel. Remember, in our arch posture, it's good to jiggle the head a bit, make sure it's not locking. Jiggle the arms a bit, make sure the shoulders aren't locking. And keep breathing and feeling. Now, if this posture should be too much on your lower back and you're worried that you might pull a muscle, hands or elbows on your knees for a little while. That'll save you from coming right back up. And then hang back into it. When the ding goes, you come up slowly, your head comes up last. You find your position back here and you go straight into the second rep up with the bow posture. And then you go round the 5 postures again, and then you go round again. So there is no gap, no break. And at the end, once you've done your 3 reps, like I mentioned earlier, lie flat out. Don't go into a sitting meditation position. It's not so good in this exercise. Lie out, flat out, eyes closed, no longer paying any attention to your breathing, and just continue to feel your body. You do that for 2 more dings, and then you'll be complete. Now, something that you may have noticed in this sequence is that you keep, for the last 3 postures, you keep your head down low. And this is very, very important. Every time you bring your head back up, we come back into our natural kind of very objective way of seeing the world, which is okay for day-to-day living. It's often how we need to be. But in therapy, it can be useful to keep your head down, especially in a sequence like this. And it keeps you more in this kind of primate space, much more raw and with higher energy. So make use of that. When you come out of a wall sit, the second posture, down into bear crawl, keep your head low. When you go into the dog lion, keep your head low. Don't bring it up in between. And when you walk your hands back from the dog lion and hang in the arch, keep your head low. Once again, so you really make use of these 3 postures in the sequence. Now the movement and the breathing, the deep breathing in this exercise, particularly in the bear crawl, this thing of keeping your head low, what it basically does is it creates more flow in your system. Many of us are used to living in our head way too much, thinking about everything, planning and predicting and whatever. But, it's great to be able to come into more of a flow space, especially when you want to be able to let go of thinking and to feel more confident, to just be naturally spontaneous. And doing this sequence, this 5-position release sequence, regularly will help to bring that into your life. And of course, if you also do it early in the morning, it gives you a real wake up as well. You will feel a certain primate lust for life flowing through your veins. Okay, so that's the 5-position release. Thank you for joining me again this week. Don't forget to check out my website, bioenergetics.org.uk, and I'll see you again soon for more Foundations of Bioenergetics. Thank you.